All right, guys, we're getting this thing started. Yeah, late as always, right? Late as always. That's just the way it happens. Wouldn't be the Space Bro Show if we weren't late. It's just how it works. It's how it works. All right, guys, welcome back to the newly refreshed Space Bro Show. And we are going to be talking about our favorite video game tonight of Star Citizen. The Space Bro Show has taken a small hiatus, but we're back and better than ever. And we are aiming to be, once again, the best damn Friday night Star Citizen podcast on between the hours of 10 and midnight every Friday. So, guys, make sure that you're tuning in each week with us. And we got some special guests tonight. We have here with us tonight my good friend and the worst mod in the whole world, the Conan Crackhead, and of course, good buddy there, Mr. Toy Grubbin. We'll be hearing from him here in a minute. Also have over here on the screen, fellow redacted content creator with over 19,000 subs on YouTube. He had to correct that for me, and obviously a shit ton of Star Citizen videos. TheNoobifier. And last but definitely not least, Mr. Nighthawk Zale, who's been focusing on a new streaming technique of doing org development on Twitch and just enjoying time being a dad and all the other good stuff. But yeah, we love him and we're glad he's around and all that stuff. And we can't hear him and we love it. We love this section here where I muted the shit out of everyone. It's wonderful, and that's just the way it works. So let's hear from all of them now and what's going on. And hey, guys. What's up?
I swear, if you weren't saying good things about me, I'm smiles.
I love it. I can just talk shit about all my guests right before everything at the very beginning. It's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah. But I like that. It rotates through everybody gets a little FaceTime. So let's talk to all the guys here and see what's going on and how they've been and all that jazz. And then we'll do a quick summary thing. Toy, what have you been up to, buddy? What's been going on since we haven't streamed together since like last December, the Space Bro Show? So
it's been a long time. Yeah, I've been representing the Space Bros in Conan Exiles.
Conan Exiles. There you go.
Public service.
Yep.
Or
well, owning and getting owned.
Yep.
The domination.
Yep. Battling our Asian counterparts over there, doing the good fight.
Oh yeah.
That's what Toy's been up to. All right. You guys are you're pretty quiet right now, actually. Maybe I need to do something on Discord.
Yeah, no. Turn his volume up 500%.
Turn it up 500%. See, we had
that's a lot of dBs.
Yeah, I don't know if we could do that. We'll probably get some squelching going. See, I hear static already if I do that. Let me do this.
MOAR.
Yeah, more power. We'll do this. Say something now, Toy.
Say something now, Toy.
All right. That'll work.
Is that any better?
It's louder. We'll keep turning. I'm turning everybody up.
Let's see.
I'm turning everybody up 200%.
200. Ouch.
Well, it was really quiet. I don't know.
I've ever been turned up.
Turn up for what?
You don't want me at 200%.
Nah.
That's the first time I've ever been told I was quiet.
Well, I think everyone's low but me. I think we've had the opposite problem of what Skype does, where it tries to mute down everybody else when I'm talking or muted me down when I have a call. I think Zoom's done something, but we'll figure it out later. Hopefully everybody can hear okay now, and I'll turn me down a little bit.
Well, I know I can hear me, so if you want, I can speak to everyone else as to what I'm saying after I hear myself say it.
Nobody else has anything important to say but me anyway, so it's okay. We'll be all right. We'll work it out. We'll just work it out.
If you ask me a question, I'll type it in chat.
There you go. All right, Let's go ahead and Noobifier, tell us what you got going on. What have you been up to?
Hello, everyone. If you didn't know who I was, I'm the Noobifier. I'm a redacted YouTube content creator. I don't do Twitch, but I very much enjoy.
You're doing Twitch right now?
I know, kind of, but I really like you guys following me on Twitch anyways, because you get to see wherever I am, which is kind of funny.
There you go.
So I've been tearing the ass out of stuff for Star Citizen and making sure that it's in a no bullshit format. I've been working on jobs lately. It's been very well received. It's been a lot of fun, and it's cute because it's something I would have wanted to do for me anyways, like research to figure out how to best approach the game and how it might come to fruition. And this way, you guys get to capitalize on that too. So right now, we just heard from Brian Chambers. Thank you, Brian Chambers, for announcing that mining was coming in 3.0 a week after me launching a brand new video on mining. That just set it off.
I'm going to go ahead and say rigged on that.
I know, right? It's
Yeah.
like the second best performing video right now, and it's kind of cool. And broke out gunships, which was fun because my org is military centric, so I really wanted to expand on that. The schedule report came out for 2.6.2, which is really good to tear out as well. And then the Hurricane, that glass cannon, what it means, like what it actually means to the universe. So that was tons of fun. And right now, I'm about to launch the gas truck video for jobs. So the fuel delivery mechanism, the ships, 100% from start to finish, what you need to know about that.
Nice.
Mic drop.
Yep. Good information, man.
Okay.
Good information.
And thanks for the support. It's been tons of fun so far.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So it's like everybody definitely needs to keep on checking them out. And quick note before we get over here to Nighthawk, if you type in !guests in chat, guys, you'll get all the links for the guys down here, our guest hosts, Noobifier, Nighthawk, Zale, so you can go over, give them some follows, give them some love. I think we omitted his Twitch on Noobifier because we didn't know we wanted it, but you know,
No, that's okay.
You'll find him.
It doesn't make any sense. You shouldn't. There's no reason to follow me on Twitch. But
do it anyways.
Free country.
But do it
Whatever.
anyways. All right, Nighthawk, what do you got going on, buddy? How's it been going? How you been?
So my name is Nighthawk Zale. I'm mainly a Star Citizen streamer. A lot of my content is live on Twitch. I cover things from gameplay to organization building. I'm on hiatus right now, but I've been working on a tabletop game themed around Star Citizen. It's in the style of X-Wing, the miniature game, in a card-based format. I have a few copies actually that I just finished getting printed that I'm working on getting out to certain persons. So it's going slowly, but I'll probably get back into that development heavily once the new baby hits a year old. But I've taken a lot of time off to kind of try and focus on that first year, be around as much as I can. I missed my other two kids that first year because of active duty. So.
Yep. Hashtag family first. We always say it here on the show. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. Until they become teenagers, and then you resent them, and they resent you, and then, you know.
No, that's why you get them with video games young. Then
There you
they'll
go.
always be there to game with you.
That's
There
we
you
need the farmers.
Not what my dad said.
Put them on and go.
Oh,
Just say,
Yeah. Mine more. I don't
Yeah.
care.
go outside.
actually, it's the other way around. My 14-year-old will message me at random times and be like, "Hey, get up on Steam, Marvel Heroes. I want to go mine for some artifacts
Nice.
or some
There you go.
outfits or something." I'm like,
Hey, anytime when they hit teenagers and they're reaching out to do something with you, that's awesome sauce. So you always love on that. All right, and obviously with myself, you've noticed we're doing some updates to the show. We're trying to get all these things hashed out, kind of add some sparkle to it a little bit. We're also working on some new formats and stuff. So if you get any feedback or anything like that, send it to me. If it's negative, keep it to your fucking selves. I don't want to hear about it. And but other than that, just tell me good things because my wallet really would like to hear good things about it. But no, seriously, other than that, we've been trying to keep up our stream schedule. Obviously, we've all seen a dip in content on Star Citizen as they're grinding away, trying to get over the hurdles of, just simple development procedures. So it's just the way it is. It's a slower time for Star Citizen. It's the way it
but
goes.
at the same time, on that note,
Mm-hmm.
if you've been around for a while, you kind of know every year they go through a season like this.
Oh yeah.
It seems like every season they go through a season like this more for me than that. Just lately.
Well, I mean, there's always something.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about these big gaps where you feel like there's no content coming out because it's all on the back end. And
Mhm.
there's
Then they
nothing-
scare you.
Yeah.
I watched.
So here's
I
something that you weren't expecting.
I actually went back and watched a lot of my videos from last year, and there was a lot of times throughout the entire year that there felt like there were big gaps apparently for me watching replays. But it's like we always forgive them when they do the drops, and we will this time too. It's just the way it is. It's like when you get the big like, why was I salty? I don't know. I'm flying around and mining shit now, so I don't care.
If ever you're pissed off with a game, just go watch it. CitizenCon 2014, 15, 16.
Yeah,
and that will set your mind at ease.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because that back then you're like, oh my god, hangar module. Like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh my god, I can see a Hornet. I can sit in my Hornet. Look at how the guy has an eyeball. That's fantastic. And now it's like, even Chris Roberts is like, yeah, those models from back then are shit compared to what we have now.
Yeah,
So
and they're all saying that. They're like, even Ben, and Ben usually doesn't tout a lot about anything. He is Mr. Downplay on everything. And he's like, because I was watching, actually, we were talking a little bit about Nikki and some of the other stuff earlier. I was watching Nikki's show. I always catch it with Ben because she does some of the best interviews with Ben Lesnick. And they were talking about keeping legacy assets. So like some people that are nostalgic for the old Hornets, or if they could keep the mini PU the way it is, so that way if the other one isn't quite what we want and all this stuff. And he said, trust me, and I'm going to tell you this, when you see what's coming, you will not miss any of the old shit at all. And she's like that, very happy about that. And I was like, oh, that made me feel good too. So
only thing I want is a piece of hanger flare that looks like the old holo table.
Yeah.
For those of us that backed early and had to deal with that piece of shit.
Yeah.
This isn't PG-12, right?
No,
Anyways,
we're good. We're 18 over here. We're all day.
Hanger flare, and it needs to have a danger tag on it saying broken.
There you go. Maybe
it.
spark out the bottom once in a while. Have a little animation go. Zzz, zzz, zzz,
Actually,
that'd be good.
That'd be right in the front. As soon as you walk in the hangar, it's right there.
There you go.
I would love that. And there's one other that I would love to see come back. For those of you that were around far back enough, when you first bought the Cutlass, and they dropped the hangar module, and you could start walking around the hangar. If you owned the Cutlass, in place of the actual ship was a little pedestal with a scale model of a Cutlass on it. And it was a really, really nice model. I want them to bring that back so that we can have that as subscriber flare, because that thing was phenomenal.
I just want to be able to hold the models and like do this when I'm going and like pretend to hit stuff with them. So when grabby hands comes into effect, all those little assets in my hangar are all gonna break.
So I'll come visit
because I'm gonna.
It'll look like a kid's room.
It will. It'll be destroyed. There'll be shit everywhere, and it'll just like shit's broken.
I've actually done that before. When I was streaming more frequently, we would test out the port modification system for decorating the hangar, and I took one of the rooms. I think it was AeroView, where it's like the command room that overlooks the rest of the hangar, and I put as many of the Takuetsu models in there as I could, just all over the place. I was like, this is the playroom.
That's the way it goes.
Real OCD is buying 12 of the same one so that you could put them all in a row.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Don't do that.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
No. The biggest problem is if they actually unlock the model so that you can orient it the manner you want it to be displayed.
Oh man,
because
I want them to finish the game
for hours. Just
we need the game.
Oh,
yeah,
I know.
We need, or not even finish the game. They need to give us some gameplay.
Something.
Give us some gameplay, because we'll make our own game out of it if they just give us some gameplay to deal with. But either way,
gonna kick ass, though.
Yeah.
The
but
more
other than that,
about it.
So we got the new show working here. We got all this stuff going. We're gonna be. Toy's my permanent co-host now, and we're going to be rotating in guests here and there. So that's why Toy doesn't get a link, because he's always going to be here. So no links for Toy. He's basically we're actually going to give him some Twitter access to the Space Bro Show and be tweeting out about it and stuff too. So we'll do all that. Additionally, we're going to be starting a new podcast, which I'm not quite ready to reveal yet, but we're going to be doing it very soon, maybe in the next week or two. And it is not Star Citizen oriented, if you can believe that. It's going to be more related to content providers and streamers and talking about streaming in general. So there'll be some more stuff there. Cool. And everybody will do a similar format where we invite people and stuff, but we'll be talking about specific topics each week, if not multiple times a week, and just kind of helping people out that want to know. I'm not a professional, but we like to think we are. It is my full-time job.
If I can read into that, would that be like the pitfalls, things that you would have to choose at the beginning if you wanted to be, successful, or break out, as it were?
Well, some of that, but we're also going to talk about very specific things like different pieces of technology that you could use, different types of things like streaming programs, all sorts of stuff. We're just going to open it up wide and talk about that, how to capitalize on social media. So that will involve also people like on YouTube, how to capitalize on that and project your stuff, you know? So
Spamming people.
Yeah.
No, but if you want, like, that sounds awesome. And if you give me, when you start that up, I would be very interested in doing the YouTube side of it if you want.
Absolutely. Because it's also, I want to capitalize on people that are maybe doing content create. Maybe they're experts in social media and stuff like that. So different aspects, I think, to help get everybody exposure, but answer the questions. There's over 17 million people streaming now. Whether you're on a console hitting a button. I know, you're not one of it, and you're not one. But there's so much audience there, and there's so many people, and it would also help draw people into our community for Star Citizen from other games and other genres to take a look at it, having a wider audience and some different topics. So I think it'll be really fun, and I'm looking forward to it. And we got some great ideas coming down the pipe on those, and some other companies and stuff that have talked to us about maybe wanting to get involved in that as well. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll keep on going down that. We didn't do the Star Citizen summary because I jumped right in it because we were late. So normally we're going to do that in the beginning, but F it. That's that's kind of how we do. We just
HCS giveaway. Do you want to start that?
we're not going to start it until second half of the show.
Done.
We'll start it after we do the Q&A section. So the first half of the show, guys, we're going to be putting up on YouTube. The second half is where we do our Q&A and all that. But if you want to start piloting questions about anything we talk about, all you have to do is put ! questions, plural, in chat, and it'll link you to a document, which I'll share with these guys when we get to that portion of the show. We'll stop the stream there, and then we'll do the second half. So, of course, the stream will probably run longer than I plan because we're already at 11 o'clock and we're just getting started. But normally it'll only be an hour on the first part, and we'll try to get it a little tighter next time. We had some technical difficulties with the new setup, but we're going to go ahead and do the deep dive now, where we're going to kind of skim over what we saw during the week, some of the little highlight points, and just kind of comment on those, and then we're just going to keep it moving through the ATV and the happy hour sections. So, very beginning of the week, the only thing I do want to mention outside the GDC event that was attended was I do want to give big props to Brian Chambers for crushing Jay Lee's question answer little part, because I know Jay Lee watches this all the time and be like, you got owned, bro. You got owned. So I want to see some actual real competition there come back. But congrats to Brian Chambers on that, for sure. And
he was ready for it.
He what, dude? I think it was rigged. I'm gonna call partly rigged. He might have crushed Jay Lee, but I felt like he was given a little bit more time and a little floated a few.
No, it wasn't that.
Softballs. Oh yeah.
He knew no bullshit.
He knew no bullshit.
Were like words.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah.
Brian Chambers. Next question.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like,
yeah, I think the first question of who you are and what do you do took Jay Lee like 10 seconds to even process what was going on.
And there was one, well, I forget, sorry, I don't know his name, but like almost the first one, he was just like,
he didn't know what he did or who he was for a while.
He didn't even know like name.
Yeah.
Like that's
I'm him.
Stuff.
I'm the guy. Absolutely.
Anyways.
All right, so GDC. So, what is the Game Developers Conference? You know, that's a lot of people don't even know what that is. It's actually the largest game-related conference that there is in the world. For those people that don't know, a lot of us think about Gamescom or PAX and all this stuff, and why these might be really large fan-based type things. The GDC is like the world's largest professional gameplay industry event, and they call it professional because people that actually have their hands-on development, people that are actual stakeholders, not just us fanboys, but people that are actually making, creating, and building the things we love out there.
Since 1988,
apparently. Yeah.
1988. Like,
old school, baby.
Pac-Man?
Yeah, like Commodore style-y. You know, so there you go. But, you know, and the main thing is this is not, I don't think CIG's attended this previously that I know of. At least they haven't announced it. I don't think they have. I could be wrong in that. But basically, I wanted to talk just briefly about why CIG was there. CIG attended the event under the invite, obviously, of Amazon because they are partners in this. And I think this is really good. And I want to get your guys' opinions on this. This partnership with Amazon personally, I see nothing but obviously positives from it because it helps it get their exposure. It's going to give us the net code, hopefully, and the infrastructure to expand the game to where we want. But do you think Amazon, additionally to that, is really helping CIG break out of their, hey, we're not going to go to these events type shell, and making them get more exposure because of their contract agreements or just because they're the flagship product? What are your thoughts? Let's start out with Nighthawk.
It's actually a pretty good question. Well, for one thing, I think they're definitely using them as a flagship project for Lumberyard. I mean, they already have a lot of eyes on them, both in the industry and within the general gaming base. It varies depending on whose perspective it is, positive, negative, but they really already bring a lot of eyes with them.
Yeah.
A perspective that I was thinking of it from, so your question sort of jarred me from it, was how
that's why I'm here.
Is potentially a way for them to make an earning to continue the development or continue development after the point of release date, so that they do less and less of the crowdfunding on the front end, and perhaps at some point actually do stop selling ships for cash, as they said they would. So, I don't expect them to really ever get rid of it, but I'm just saying this would be a nice thing if they're able to make some money off of this and continue to advance the development of the project, potentially even getting it to meet deadlines sooner rather than later. Why not?
Absolutely. And
you know what I think?
Go ahead, Toy. Tell us what you think.
I think with them showing all this tech off that they're working on, they can make a buttload of money by just selling that tech, leasing that tech to other companies to use in other games.
Yep.
So that's where I think they're going to make some big bucks on.
Yeah.
Because some of this tech is just amazing.
Revolutionary. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, when we talk about them selling a ship, a new ship comes out, and they're making $1 million, $2 million, $5 million. That's nothing compared to like leasing some of the technology to other companies, because there's companies that pay, tens of millions of dollars annually to be able to have access to codes and stuff to build their games to do it. I mean, EA in a year will drop $250 million on a game development of a major title, no problem. That already dwarfs like all we've spent across almost a 4 or 5 year project. So there's opportunities there where if you're getting like 10 million here and 20 million there to perpetuate the game beyond where it's going to be post-launch, I think, and maybe they won't have to rely on those ship sales. I mean, I'm not saying they won't do them, but at least maybe not eggs all in one basket, because I don't think you want to perpetuate ship sales forever, because then you end up with this type of scenario where I have to make a better ship for people to buy it. I have to make a better ship for people to buy it. And then you end up with all the old assets like that, because people won't just buy ships for aesthetics forever. So you got to be careful in that, because you've seen a lot of games go pay to win when it's like, I'm going to sell you the magical sword of Eberron or whatever, if you buy this one, and you see it especially.
The one-up sword.
The one-up, and everything's one-up. And I don't want them to get there, because right now they haven't done that, because they have a diversity of ships at their beck and call where they don't have to do that. It's not an issue. But post-launch, you got the same existing community. You're trying to draw new people in. You want to give people that win button to get their wallet. And I don't
don't want to piss people off that backed early.
Absolutely. But I don't think they would ever want to do this, but some companies have been forced to, or their game dies, because it just depends where they're at with it. So future-proofing through technology development, making not only Star Citizen's world better, but also being able to use that tech to resell, I think is a great idea. And hopefully, they've already talked about capitalizing on that type of stuff since I backed. So now we're just seeing more and more of it come to fruition, and I think that's great.
So for me, anyways, the good thing about Amazon, so you got, like, for example, this convention, the next convention, all these different conventions. Amazon, like you said, wants to demonstrate what they're capable of doing with this engine. Star Citizen's prime for that. Now, I know that every single time that they decide to go to a convention, they are gonna take flack from the communities, like, I didn't back this game so that you could go on a big trip, a cruise to Mexico, so that you can show off the game at some convention. The reality is we did, but no. So in the eyes of the gamer population, it could be also very neat if Amazon is funding or offsetting the cost of Star Citizen being there, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's Amazon's booth, it's not Star Citizen's booth. You know, it's Amazon's hotel, it's not Star Citizen's hotel.
Which
And
I'm
that
assuming a lot of that it is that way because
right,
they.
and that should make people happy.
Yeah.
Right, makes me happy because I would rather my money go on. But the thing is, too, everyone needs to remember at the end of the day, you've pledged that money, it's gone. Just accept it and don't lament over it. Don't get all poopy. It's not worth it, right? So,
Well, and the thing for me on top of that is the fact we pledge money to make the game happen. We have no control over how they do that, and and as much as they involve us and allow us to be part of that process, that's awesome. The money, once I hand it to somebody, I'm saying, you know, hopefully you'll be able to fulfill your, not obligation, but your intention of making this game. If they decide to pull all that money up and go to Vegas and double it down and do that, and then we're all like, well, we're all hosed, that's the way it is. I mean, it sucks, but that's the way it is. But we chose people that are at least what we presume are fiscally responsible, intelligent business people, or they wouldn't be where they are in life. I mean, a lot of them have had huge jobs at multiple companies, and they've given up those jobs to come here. So there's got to be great opportunity for growth. There's got to be great opportunity to do stuff here.
or they're already millionaires.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, right. Like, top score.
Absolutely.
There you go. Just throw that money at the camera.
Take my money.
There you go. Just throw it, baby. Throw it. All right. So, yeah, so I see nothing but positives. And I'm really hoping that Amazon continues to, for whatever reason, selfish on Amazon's part or not, draw Star Citizen out of its shell, because they have no other game on that AWS platform right now, or Lumberyard, that where are you going to show them? They've got a couple games in development that look kind of promising, but they're almost like those all Ratchet and Crank new version type stuff. There's nothing to the scope and scale of Star Citizen at all. So hopefully we'll keep getting profits from that. And that leads us into the updates. So we had some really good updates, and I don't know what it is, but I'm really loving the ATVs now, because I feel like the first 10 minutes just do an information dump truck on me.
Oh, yeah.
And then the rest of it's like just eye candy and relax. So I kind of like that. So I might not even care about what's happening in the second half, but it's usually pretty and it looks good. But the first half is just like, all right, here's what we're doing. And usually it's Brian Chambers doing it. And this time it's, I can't remember his last name. Is it Jake?
Jacob Ross.
Yeah. He was just hammering it out. I just call him Mr. Wonderbeard, because he's got the magical beard of
But
old.
it's also nice. It's nice to get Chris Roberts. Like, I know that there was times where he was in, UK or doing something else, but it's really nice to actually have him on the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just something different about that. It's not like comforting or something like that, but it is a little bit like that. It's nice to see him.
It just lets me know he's got his head in the game,
right.
and it's not about,
he's
hey,
still,
I'm doing all this other stuff, dreaming in the clouds, coming up with the next system to delay this 6 months.
Right.
He's got his head in the
And
game.
I've always got him as a hands-on kind of boss, and it's good. It's reinforcing to have him there.
Absolutely. So, according to Captain Jake, because he definitely looks like a captain, basically the big focus this month was the implementation on the back end of trade in the game, which this gets me super, super, super excited, because it's not like, hey guys, we're going to hand you cargo and, we'll figure out the mechanics and whatever down the road. They're already making sure that they're building the infrastructure and they're developing it right now for the back end to keep it interesting. And that's basically what they're saying. So they're talking about having in shops in 2.62. So some of those shops we've been waiting on, like I hope Dumpers Depot, where we might actually be able to buy some components and parts in game. I won't have to go to a website. I'm hoping that's what they're talking about. But they just use the word shops. So we'll see what shops come out. They'll have some initial list of different commodities, things like that. But they're going to keep it really dumbed down just for testing. All that's fine. It's good they're moving forward. Early stages of the economy, I think, are very, very important for us to test out, because we're going to cheat and try to break them. I am,
course.
because I want to break it now and for somebody to figure out as an exploit. Like, if I load a carton of eggs in my ship 6 times, it makes 40,000 hens or something weird, you know? There's always these weird exploits people find out with this type of stuff. And now's the time to play with some of those mechanics and do those things. So what is, if anything, regarding trade or this stuff, are you most excited to see how it functions? Or what type of gameplay are you hoping that it will mean down the road for you, your orgs, those type of things? Let's start out with Noobifier this time.
So this is an MMO at its core, this game. And this is exactly the type of thing that anyone who's ever been interested in an MMO wants to be able to do. To move something or do something for something, to get something out of it. Going around SBK and picking up booze every 30 minutes or every 30 seconds is very, very lame gameplay. It was a very bad, it was a placeholder. Let's not say it's bad. It was what it is. It was there. Yeah. Now we're talking about having unique stores and all the missions and everything that would go with it. And I actually see that this is going to give the boost for the player base. This is going to, you know, every time you get the PTU, it kind of goes up, and then you get live and everyone's playing, and then it tapers off. This piece has the potential to keep people playing longer, because some people, you know, like it's a thing. You go into Warcraft and there's guys that all they want to do is grind credit. They want to grind for gold, and that's cool. That's what the game's for. The game is whatever you want to make of it. So giving people the ability to do that is going to mean that there's more traffic, and of course that's better for testing, etc., etc. Then we get feedback on whether or not it's fun, because those people are going to play it to death and they're going to say this is stupid. We need this to happen, or we need that to happen. So it's a great mechanism to get the community interested in this cargo economy thing and then refine it.
Yep, I'd agree. I think that's awesome. You know, the more input we can get by testing it, the better off we're all going to be in the end.
Right.
For sure. So, Toy, what do you think? Any aspects of trade you're interested in participating in personally, or what's it mean for the overall community? Or,
you know, the only thing I was looking forward to is mentioned 2 ATVs back, and that was how they're going to implement the solar systems and how they're going to rotate around and work with that. That's all I cared about. This trade system, it'll work itself out in the long run, but the solar system with the planets and the rotating around the sun, that was my bread and butter for this game. So it's nice to at least have them mention it, even though it was like a 2-second mention. But
yeah,
that's what I cared about.
Okay.
No, with that, it's going to be the tide, the weather, all of that dynamic stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not just the planet. It's like a universe simulator. So
I know.
cool.
That's
yeah.
Well, and also, like, as far as travel ties into that, do you arrive day or night? How do you dictate that? Hopefully we'll see some of the things we've seen in Helion, where you can choose your time, your arrival type stuff, how long it's going to take you. Those things come into play. So maybe your desto could take you an extra 20 minutes, so you're on the other side of the planet or something like that. So there's all kinds of neat little aspects of that. Nighthawk, what do you think, bud, about all the trade systems and all those things we've heard about from Austin?
What really excites me about seeing the trade system come in on its first iteration is the fact that I've always felt like, as Noobifier put it, this placeholder economy that they gave us just never really cut it. The economy is supposed to be something that's dynamic, that's living within the universe, and in and of itself could be considered an NPC, a mission giver, right? Mission givers do more than just put shit in the trunk of your car. They give you purpose. They give you reason for doing the things that you want to do. And so with trade coming into place, I finally feel like I'm going to have a reason to hop in my ship and make the jump to Sela, to Yellen, maybe to Microtech once Stanton comes out. But there's actually going to be a reason for going from point A to point B. You're going to want to take those long trips and kind of, fingers crossed, hope that something happens along the way, because then you're really starting to feel that living universe.
Yeah, that immersion stuff comes out in those type of aspects, so that's pretty cool.
And then mining.
and then mining.
Then you have a real reason to go out and do some spelunking.
Well, it adds extra layers, right? And that's where
Right.
then you have another thing. It's not any dynamic you add to the fold when it comes to travel and the economy and stuff is another area that either needs to defend itself, needs to be able to acquire certain goods from a specific area, be able to relay those to another area. Other people have to try to intercept those. Just one aspect like mining or transport or those two things combined just adds so much dynamic gameplay and potential for us to create stories out of it. It's huge, and you don't have to be an RPer to appreciate that, because I'm definitely not. And there's going to be so much fun involved on multiple levels with all that stuff.
Sorry, that actually brought up a good point. Like that someone in the comments said, it's like, holy crap! I never ever considered that as a space trucker, I wouldn't be going from planet to planet, because when I did the mining video, I said you don't want that ship to stop mining, but you have to empty the stuff. So you'd have to get someone to fly out and go pick up the stuff.
Right.
And that in itself isn't boring, because okay, maybe for you flying from this place to this place isn't boring, but that would get to me boring. But having to go out and take a job to go fly to somewhere unknown territory and go transfer cargo and then bring it back, again, that opens up more diverse gameplay. And if they put mining and cargo in the same game at the same time, that's the type of stuff that I would expect. More human interaction, not just NPC missions, but being able to actually team up with an org and say, I need you to take this cargo away from me and give me money for it. So
you know what it is? It's that player rush that we got when 2.0 first dropped, and all of a sudden your ship despawned, and then people at Olisar find themselves with these player generated SAR missions, and you got to try and figure out where the heck this person is and how you're going to pick them up, and it's going to happen all over again.
It's the first time you saw Area 18 where you got to see other players in the game, because that was the first time.
And everybody just stood around and looked at each other for a while going, holy shit, there's another player.
And then they put the Grey Cats in there. We were killing each other.
Yep. And we all looked the exact same, and the exact same go-karts ramming into each other, and we did it for weeks, and we loved it.
Well, I'm looking forward to later on, because some of those ships have those hidden compartments for you to bring illicit goods in.
The smuggling.
Work. Yeah, all that smuggling stuff.
Smuggling would be cool. How are they going to deter that? I mean, how's the NPC police? How do they scan you? How do you avoid scans? It's all more gameplay involved in that. My biggest fear related to this, I'll let you guys comment on this too. My biggest fear is that they would add too much into a single build. And that's the same thing when they talk about adding mining to 3.0. And you think about all the other aspects they're going to add into 3.0. And I really hope they're going to do like a sub-iterative process. So when they say 3.0, they mean 3.0.1, 3.0.2. Because if you throw everything in there and one piece is broken that screws something up, that's that much more content they have to go and shuffle through to find it.
That's what PTU's for, though. The PTU...
It is, but this is the biggest build, arguably, they've ever done.
Right. But 3.0 isn't feature locked. Like, I mean, they announced that they're trying to put mining
everything into it.
Yeah, I know. But if they came back and said, we fucked up, we can't because it's broken. Would you rather have it now, or do you want it in a month or two?
And they've also been known to list features and then pull them last minute because it just wasn't up to snuff.
Yeah. Hence Squadron 42 at CitizenCon.
Although
Mit's worried about,
dare I say?
Yeah, I think they're trying to back away from that. But go ahead, Toy.
I think what Mit's worried about is because they're redoing the network code, he wants them to get the base universe in first and worry about making that smooth. Then worry about adding all these extra content stuff in.
Or at least a player count. Maybe not even extra space.
Okay, but on that though, don't forget that there are different groups of people working on different things. So yes, the universe may not be smooth, but they may not necessarily have anything to fix until they see how this piece goes in, and then they can fix it or optimize it. And that's the bigger picture. I'm not saying that you're wrong, believe me, because it does make sense. Fix it and then break it, right, like that.
Well, I think you got to fix where you're at in order to add something.
But who's to say that,
Well-
that we're not waiting on another component that we don't even know about, like netcode 3.0?
Well, I can only think of one party that we would have that answer, and they haven't told us anything about that yet.
Right.
So
That's all right though.
yeah,
I think, at least in terms of trade, I don't feel like that's necessarily something we need to be too concerned about. With what they've shown us in the plans for pushing it out, it looks and it sounds like they're taking it in small steps, because the first iteration they're talking about just dropping shops, and this is pre 3.0. With 3.0 they're talking about having so you can take on these missions and you can auto spawn stuff into your trunk, and when you get to the mission location and you turn in the mission, it auto despawns the stuff in your trunk. So it's not like they're letting you move them around individually yet, which they have demoed. But we're not even getting into yet the discussion concerning the various forms of commodities, because that in and of itself is going to change the way in which you're going to move things around.
And they mentioned in here that they're going to start out with like a very basic commodity list to start with. They're not going to go crazy. They're going to do like solids, gases, you know, these type of things just to test the different types of cargo, but they're not going to be like...
We've already got a Starfarer,
yeah,
right? So is it... I'm not... Okay, this is not me hyping the shit out of it, because I don't think it's going to happen, but who's to say that they don't say, okay, 3.0, by the way, here you go, your Starfarer now pumps fuel.
And I'm fine with all this. My biggest concern is the fact that I want to see the net code, because we don't have big player counts, and if they expand the universe to accommodate all this stuff, 24 people in this huge ass area, it's just not going to play out well. So I'm hoping they're doing, like I said, an iterative process where they talk about 3.0 just like they talked about 2.6. 2.6 really translates out to 2.61, 2.62, possibly a 2.63. We don't know until we get 2.62 in, because they might have some stuff they need to patch up from that. It's a step-by-step process. I'm hoping 3.0 is 3.00, 3.01, and it's just rapid succession, so they can kind of peel the onion back and fit the pieces in, rather than going, here's 3.0, oh shit, now let's peel the onion back and figure out what broke the entire time. They might not have a choice, though. Like you're saying, they might have a choice. They might have to put everything in to test it to see what it is and then go from there. But it just seems like they keep adding every week or two. It's like, oh, and that's in 3.0. And that's in 3.0.
You also have to remember that a lot of the stuff that they're trying to test out within the PTU, within the PU, every time they drop new content, new features, new mechanics, a lot of that they're dropping in right now is probably stuff that they want tested, because it's going into Squadron 2. Yeah. For one reason or another. And we know for a fact that Shubin Mining Facility is a facility that you're going to visit. And if it's a mining facility, they have to have active mining. Since it's a living, dynamic economy, and this is an economic hub, they need to have that there. So why not let us test it out?
And that's fine. I'm just coming from a place. I remember when they added the Starfarer. Remember when they had the Starfarer, and it broke the entire game when they put one Starfarer in. And I look from that right. That, like, it's just been a little over a year ago, right? That to now, it's like, oh, we're gonna give you everything you ever dreamed of. At least from my perspective, like all this stuff in this big build, and it just scares me a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not a game designer.
I'm not either.
Obviously, none of us. So the thing that always brings me back is you take something like Grand Theft Auto, where you only found out that it was being developed after 89, 90% of it's done, and they're like, oh, here's a live beta, you can go test it. So who's to say that this isn't normal? That I would assume that an alpha is always broken, right? You're always like, change the magazine and it buggers off, or the scope is wrong, or all these stupid fixes that need to get done aren't, because they don't matter until the whole game is there. So I know what you mean. Yeah. And yes, it's good to fix something and then put something else in, right?
If it's a possibility, which we don't know if that's even the way.
But maybe it's normal to put everything in the game and have it completely like screwed and then fix it. So
maybe,
again, game developer not here.
Nope.
Well, also they're in a very unique position, because not only do they have their QA departments across 4 offices, possibly even more. But they have us. They have how many of us
Mhm.
actively participating in dropping tickets into the issue council.
Yeah.
So they're covering how much more ground than the regular development.
This is true, but can you imagine the amount of tickets with all that shit piled in there? What they would get from us? We would break. I don't care if you have 17 QA departments. We would break them on their QA.
Turbulent has some work to do on Spectrum. There you go.
Yeah.
One more ticket.
There you go.
Spectrum,
No
Spectrum's
problem,
a nice
guys. We
diversion.
got this. We got this. So, yeah, they also talked about, outside of some of the trade mechanics and stuff, they talked about on the art side, it was what the final passes on some of the locations for Squadron 42. And that is one of the few times I've even heard them mention Squadron 42 in the last 3 months. It's because they're keeping it very hush-hush. So I get the feeling they're very close to where they want to be with Squadron 42, and I think we'll see it this fall, hopefully.
Did you see that clickbait that CIG put out today? And I'm not
Which
complaining, but it's
Are you talking about the newsletter?
the BDU, like Squadron 42
Oh, yeah.
uniform. And
Yeah.
it was like Squadron. Oh
Marine
fuck!
Navy.
It's who gives a shit?
Yeah.
It was such
Well,
a letdown.
it's like they're using psychological warfare now. They
Right.
don't want us
And
to
it's-
forget about it.
and
They don't want to
it's not
talk
that,
about it,
like,
but they don't want us to forget about it yet.
Squadron 42, and I'm like, it's a uniform. And it's not that I
Yeah.
don't give a shit, but I don't give a shit compared to what I thought it was.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's like every time they just gotta keep us engaged, right? They gotta keep us
Pants.
engaged a little bit, even if it's a troll. Even if it's a troll. They also talked about how the ship art team has been, the gray box phase of the Cutlass is pretty much done, at least there. They're working on all the secondary and primary main. They're putting the candy paint on the hot rod. Is what they're doing at this point. So that
need that
Cutlass
ship to
is
come out.
that thing's
That
gonna be
looks
cool.
awesome.
I know.
So they need to make sure I can log into the PU and stay in there for more than 30 minutes for the ship comes out, because I'll be really fucking mad.
Hater.
I'll be like, I can't stay in the Cutlass. But yeah, they talked about some other polish ups with the Caterpillar, lighting passes, things of that. I was really happy to hear they're wrapping up the gray box process on the Prospector. So that I assume is a huge
that's
push
your
with the
3.0.
mining 3.0, all that stuff. I don't know. I want to caution everybody not to expect the Prospector in 3.0 because
You need it. What else are you gonna mine with?
well,
Your
you
hand?
have
Originally,
they do have a
said
hand
that you
tool.
were going to be mining with your paw tool.
Oh,
Yeah,
But I
to
think
start
they got
with.
enough complaints
To
in
start
the
with, that's what
forums
they
and
said.
over social media
oh god.
that
No.
Now-
they're trying as hard as they can to get
What
the
I can
Prospector
see them
because
doing
that
though,
wasn't
Nighthawk,
a
I can see
well-accepted
them
idea.
set. They've told us from the beginning that we would use hand tools for all these aspects to begin with. I can see him going hand tool. Oh, and here's the Prospector.
That does not sound like anything Chris Roberts would ever put pen to paper for. He wants the Prospector.
Oh, of course he wants
It's
it.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
But originally,
That's what
Yeah,
they said
well
last
Not
year.
even-
And
That's
it-
not going to happen. You look at how detailed that ship is, like in its current state. Yes, they did a
Oh, yeah.
a theatrical video of it,
Yeah.
but that was in-game asset. That was good to go. And yes, it's not finished. Maybe doesn't have damage states in that video, but that video was probably done months ago, right? So yeah, I think it came out
We
3
don't-
weeks ago.
Yeah, we
2 weeks
don't
ago?
know if it's months ago or if they have a guy live like 5 minutes before they go live and they're like, quick,
Right.
do the video, because they're
So,
very
I guess
hush
what
hush
I'm
about
saying
when
is-
stuff's done.
What I'm saying is, if I was a betting man, and
Mm-hmm.
I am, you have Chris Roberts' appetite for awesome, for sensational, because that's really what this game is just one big
Mm-hmm.
adrenaline rush after another. 3.0 confirmed. We'll have mining. You have a mining ship being demoed
Mm-hmm.
on ATV. It makes sense. We're not going to be hammering rocks with hand tools. That doesn't.
Well, and if you
that
think
doesn't
about it,
make-
they have to have some sort of boarding mechanic.
I want my space chisel.
I'm not saying fleshed out, but they have to have some sort of boarding mechanic, either not maybe at 3.0, but right on the heels of it, because it's going to come into the whole security. How do you get cargo out of the ship? How do you, loot? Those type of things. So there's going to be some sort of boarding mechanics, and I consider salvaging and stuff a boarding mechanic, because that's part of that deal where you come in and you get assets, trade assets, and all
Honestly, before they even do that, I would really appreciate if they could just drop in some ownership for your ship.
I just
you
want
can
an
lock it
inventory
down.
system.
It's so funny to be able to go and fuck up with people's shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
I honestly just want an inventory system. I want to be able to look and see what's on my person. They've given us an inventory in Star Marine, right? I can see how many bullets I have. I can see how many med packs I have now. I can see, I might not be able to access like a backpack, but I can see it. I just want an inventory system for when I pick up anything. Like if I pick up whiskey bottles and stuff, I know they just give you cash, but when they decide to convert that over, I want to be able to open a little screen and say, oh, you have 5 whiskey bottles on you.
Oh,
So-
Yeah,
that was a
would be
thing
nice.
that we just found out. I mean, we kind of knew it anyways, but
Mhm.
there's no magic backpack in this game.
Yeah, no magic
It's
back
on
there.
your person. It's
Yeah.
on your person.
Yeah, if you don't
Yes,
have a
but
molly or some sort of
three
hookup
sniper
for it,
rifles in your backpack.
Yeah.
Like it's just there like Rust, I guess,
yeah,
or even
well,
DayZ.
like every other
don't have
game
a
in the
double
world.
back.
Yeah. Okay.
Can't carry
Right.
it.
Yeah,
Which
but
is good.
I love that
Yeah,
though. Yeah, if
I
you
love
don't have
that.
a rig or a molly or something, you're not
Well,
hooking it.
You need to bring the gray cat because that's
Yeah.
where your schmutz is.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
Or you need to have the Ursa rover with you, which is
Yep.
realistic. You have to have your M2 Bradley.
Yep. Or
Yes.
or bring a box.
Bring a box.
Well, no,
Bring a box.
Yeah.
the rover has storage for boxes.
Yeah, so you just
Yeah.
you'd like bring boxes. It'd be like Toy and Conan building boxes everywhere and stuffing shit into them that doesn't fit. And
I'm a hoarder.
he's also OCD about it, so he doesn't know this yet. But I'm gonna wait till he logs off and build like 100 boxes and put one item in every single
Just
one
put
of
them
them.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's like you'd not be able to tell.
Next to the pain wheel.
Yep,
I didn't play
everywhere.
the game, but I just
So
Yeah.
that's
Watch.
kind of a good question to ask. Do you guys think we're going to start seeing more ground vehicles? Since 3.0 is going to have planet side, and who knows what we're going to
there's-
see? In
I think we'll
right?
see. I think
42.
we'll see what they've already prototyped and showed us. I think we'll see the rovers, the dragonflies, and the gray cats. And I don't think
Why?
they'll go beyond that yet.
Why have they not resold the rover after the first iteration of cells?
They should have.
It's never been
That-
on sale again.
Because it's
That
going to be
Ursa
$100
needs to
when we
be
get
a
it next
regular.
time.
but you can't use it, so it doesn't really matter.
It'll be
they'll
twice as
sell
much.
it again. Oh,
But
I don't know.
Why not sell it with all the ship sales? Why are they keeping it from being sold?
I'd buy a couple.
So,
I
yeah,
mean,
I want one.
I don't like it.
I mean,
Doesn't
they never-
until I can drive it. It doesn't really matter though. I mean, to me, that's maybe one of the reasons.
You know how much shit I've bought that I can't drive yet?
It's not like it's not like it's going to be super rare in the
Hashtag
universe like a
Grok.
Phoenix or something, right?
Yeah.
So it's.
But
You're
I-
right, though, it doesn't make any sense. It's another mechanism to make more money, but the reality is, until the game mechanics are in there, it's just another piece of text in your.
I think it was
inventory.
more at the time when they sold it to us. Me
Yeah.
and Toy especially, we just thought they'd resell it in in a few weeks and something else because it's one of those things
Yeah.
that just sits there, and they never did. They were just like,
And
Was
they
that
never
with the
offered
sitcom?
LTI with it, so it didn't
No.
matter. You know what I mean?
because they said that was
no.
based on your ship, which was even weirder
Yeah,
because
well, that was the sitcom, right? That was
Yeah.
launched at sitcom with the Polaris and all that.
Well, no, it was before that. It was before that. It was
Oh,
like
it was before.
No, the
was
Ursa
Gamescom,
introduced,
I think wasn't it Gamescom when
the
they first showed it?
Constellation commercial.
Yeah,
Well, okay, but the first time it actually went on sale. The first
Oh,
time I
before
actually saw it
Citizen
in.
The first time it went on sale was when the Aquila first came available.
and I
It's
thought
been available as long as the Aquila's been available, just
Yeah, but
like the
never
Lynx rover, which is
standalone.
barely ever
Yeah.
talked about,
Like,
has been
'cause-
available since the Phoenix.
But the whole thing was, I know it was
Sorry.
for sale during the Gamescom thing when they did that first like land on the planet, fight the pirate demo thing. They sold it around that time,
Okay.
and me and Toy expected at SitCon they would sell it again, and they never put it back on sale. And we were like, well, fuck.
Incidentally, Josie Poozy, I'm not middle aged. I'm really old.
Mm,
Just
Same
so you
here.
know. Yeah. So
yeah,
have fun with that.
Honestly, age is nothing more than a count of orbits around the sun. So
what kind of young dude names himself Juicy Poozy anyway? I don't even understand
Oh.
what that's about.
Hashtag.
It's like, you know what?
Hashtag.
I'm a young and virile viewer on Twitch. And Juicy Poozy sounds hardcore. We'll do that.
Only little kids are allowed to play video games, right?
Yep. I keep telling them Xbox needs to quit allowing these people on Twitch. I don't understand what they're doing. Anyway,
Anyways, moving on.
moving along
Fucking.
before I get shut down and Twitch reps mail me and stuff. And animation teams have been working on NPC character animations to work within the environment, which I kind of assumed they already had this. But I guess they're probably refining them or something, so that way they're actually picking up bottles, doing shit with the environment instead of standing there.
I think Steve Bender commented on that in today's happy hour.
He did. I don't
where a lot
recall
of
what
that
he
is-
said, though.
A lot of that at this stage, I think he said, is just fine tuning for like object targeting.
Yeah, because
So
it's the
where-
changing environment, right?
Also, it's the same action node for every NPC. They all use the same one, right? But they're
Yeah.
never in the same place. And so one of the things that they're trying to figure out right now is how to have two NPCs sitting at the same table, each with their own cup, and reaching for their cup instead of their hands going to the same coordinates. And you've got one guy with arm that's like stretched.
Yeah, and if they're working on tracking, it also could be, say there was a bar fight and their crap gets knocked on the table, on the floor, instead of it always being right there for them to grab it, recognize that this is here and pick up these items and stuff.
The bottle rolls.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So that's important.
Really the ballsy part of this game. It's like the level of audacity that we need this as a feature.
Yeah,
that's like.
Well, the interesting
I don't
aspect.
think it's ever been done in any game like that before. Because take like Skyrim, you can move stuff everywhere, but the NPCs they're completely oblivious. You could throw stuff at them and they don't even care. So the fact that it's trying to be so that you can do that and something will react appropriately. That's the key, is that the action will make sense. That's kind of neat.
Yep. The other thing, and I don't know if we already passed it or not, but that I read earlier, was the fact that, and this is something I don't know that I've seen in other games, I'm sure it's happened, but the NPCs can loot you. Like, they actually choose what they want off you. Like, they could rob you and actually loot your items for themselves, and then you'd have to go get them back. Just like another player who comes up and ganks you and takes your shit. You're just like, you got to worry about the NPCs now, bro. Yeah. You got to watch out, because they'll like come up and take your stuff. Like, all right, he took my gun. The NPCs took it and ran off.
They have said from early on that they want to make it difficult for a player to distinguish the difference between another player and an NPC.
Yep.
I hope that they're able to do that.
Turing test 101. We'll be doing it all day.
Right.
That's right. All right. So then they talked a little bit more about the methodology, and I did appreciate this, because as much as I tout and been whiny, I know, about the whole 3.0 piling everything and all this stuff, they talked about the new diffusion architecture at length, actually, for what their plan for implementation with C++ in order to get the player count up. How they're actually doing that. They're talking about how it's more scalable, how they're actually figuring out high-performing stateless services, and that's going to help them support increasing the concurrent player number exponentially, possibly. It just depends how successful it is, and they're going to see what it is. But by what they're saying, it sounds like they could already throw in there double, if not more, the player counts of what we have in the same area that we already have now. So that's really positive, and I'm hoping that we'll see some of that sooner than later. Because I would hate for the instances to grow to the scale of what they're talking about, and then you have 24 people. That'd be very lame. So,
especially since the big ships are going to take a lot more than 24 people to run.
No, dude, you'll drive one Idris. I'll drive the Endeavor, and then we'll meet over there, and then we'll just run. It'll just be like when I'm crewing the pirate ships in Black Wake, and I have no crew, and I gotta sail the boat. Then I gotta run underneath and reload all the cannons myself. Then I fire them all off. Then I gotta run back up and repair the sails and grab the wheel again. It'll be really awesome and super successful. I can't wait. All right. Other than that, we also went into the final part of ATV that I wanted to talk about just for a moment too, is the Spectrum updates. And I got to give a big shout out to the guys working on Spectrum over there, because they have been very consistent on keeping us up to date, and they don't take up a huge amount of time updating shit. They're just like, this is what we're doing. We're appreciating your feedback. Here it is. And I have to say, as far as an implementation of a system from what we've seen, when they dropped it, I was like, this is awesome. It works. It's not broke. They haven't had to fix shit with it. I'm happy with Spectrum a lot. It might not do a lot right now.
Well,
but yet. But it's Discord with forums That's awesome to me. I mean, basically giving you implementation. EVE Online worked for months to get a forum system for their corporations. I remember back when I was playing it, and Spectrum in the first iteration alpha pass like blew it away. Like, oh well, fuck that. There you go. This is awesome. Look at this.
The thing I think is nice about it is that it's not like the game where we're waiting for patch after patch. They could actually, like, you're what 3.0 Delta right now or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, they could technically make a change, and you don't have to download anything. You just refresh your browser. So it's nice. It's not. I'm not going to say it's a diversion, but it's something else to track, right? And again, like you said, every ATV they seem to come out with something new. I'm expecting the orgs to expand to get like Fleet View. That was a thing that was supposed to be a stretch goal. And you know, you're going to get people that don't want people to know they have 12 javelins, and that's fine. You'd probably be able to click off and say, don't share my fleet. But it would be neat tool for an org, because I know, like, we manage a spreadsheet for my org for the sole purpose. It's not meant to be like a measuring contest, as it were, who's got the biggest fleet. But what it really boils down to is, I know that if I have 6 carracks in my org and we're 60 people, that I shouldn't even be looking at that. I'm you know, Starfarer or some other ship. So it's that's going to be a neat tool. And then the multi-level voice comms. This being command structure and this being squadron. On your double joystick. I have 2 push to talks. That to me is going to be mint, and that will ruin. Like, that's the only reason people are still using TeamSpeak, because TeamSpeak, as archaic as it is, has that functionality. Discord does not.
TeamSpeak has the robust depth to like do amazing things, but we've been waiting for and it's done that now for what, 8 years? Nothing else has come out. So
well, Mumble, Ventrilo, all these things are, you know, but nothing. They're all stuff.
TeamSpeak's been is still got the latest build of a hierarchy set up that supports that, and we used it a ton in EVE because you're managing fleets of 200 plus easily all the time there. We've been Discord's made promises that they're going to do something similar at some point, but to have something, if it works well with voice, has the hierarchy set up, and is fully integrated in the game over. I mean, that's just it. That's going to be the comms. So we'll still use Discord for precursory outside stuff, but I won't be renting a TeamSpeak server if they get it done right. I mean,
oh God, no.
I'll pay them an extra $5-10 a month for Spectrum if they do it right. That'd be something. That's another avenue. Maybe if you have a 200 or 300 man org, you get guys to give them a couple bucks for that, for the voice traffic and stuff. I would, if they can bring up the fidelity to like TeamSpeak or better. I'd be good.
I just hope that when they finally do come out with the voice, that they immediately companion it with the mobile app too. I don't want them to wait another year to come out with a mobile app for it.
Well, that's their next goal, right?
I think they said that they're trying to get the mobile app out before they even get
before
the
they
voice
do voice. Absolutely.
Okay, good.
So that way we can communicate. I mean, there's tools we can use right now on our mobile phone for Spectrum. I mean, we can use the forums. We could use those things. We can remote into chat.
They're not optimized though.
They're not.
Messy. But the other good thing, I mean, this is common knowledge that the intent is, while you're in game, if you're talking with a person, it's stereo located, so it sounds like you are actually talking. If I'm having a conversation with Nighthawk over here and you're walking by, you'll hear the conversation, and it'll be muted because of distance, but as you walk by, it should track. It's supposed to add that level of atmosphere. Now, is that a security risk to your org's operation? Of course it is. So I can actually see myself operating Discord at the same time, because you have to.
But all their systems can't work that way, and this is the thing, and this is how robust I picture this system has to be, because what you're talking about, we've experienced many times in many FPS and fighter games, proximity chat. So your proximity dictates the volume or if you hear it or not. And it's a really fun mechanic, because people that don't share comm systems, if you board a vessel and you want to talk shit, be like, get on your knees now. You don't have to go, what's your IP?
But they just announced that
so I can talk to you. Yeah.
No, but they announced that last week, that you'd be able to have internal chat like a radio in between your guys, and then what do they call it?
Proxy chat.
No, it was a megaphone. It was a IC intercom in the ship. So if like Soros
Oh.
boarded your Caterpillar, you could broadcast it. Anyone in that ship would hear it. Like you said, get the fuck off my ship or I'll vent you, right? That kind of stuff, which is again awesome.
Yep.
More taunting, etc., etc. But the only, like I said, the only negative is if I am talking with you, Mitch, and I'm about to kill you, or I want my friend in my org to kill you, or steal something from you, I obviously can't broadcast that, so I would need another way of doing that.
Yep.
And if they give us the ability to have a secure net and the talk out loud, then I can actually see Discord not being needed.
Yep.
But if they don't embrace the fact that people need that functionality and will seek it, and they don't give it to us, so we will go elsewhere.
And it has to scale, right? I mean, it has to scale to whatever size you have. Because beyond that, the hierarchy I used with TeamSpeak was we had 255-man TeamSpeak. You'd have
inoperable.
Yeah, you'd have your commanders, right? On a whisper channel, because they're called whisper channels on there. So that way you're just talking to them. So say you had 5 or 10 squads in Star Citizen terms, it'd be 5 or 10 ships with multi-crew. You need to talk to each of those commanders. Those commanders need to talk to their bridge crew. Those bridge officers need to talk to their selected departments without crossing comms. And then you need a group broadcast for your entire vessel. So it's like abandoned ship or whatever.
How many toggles is that? Do I got like 62
I mean, that's 6
hotkeys
right
on my
there.
keyboard?
That's
right? Like it becomes again inoperable. So it's going to be interesting to see how large organizations actually do that. I can see like almost like
officers.
mayors in charge of, you know, they got the pulse of the commander. They know what the commander's intent is, just like the military does, and then they run with it. You know, what
you need to facilitate that is 3 keys. And this is how it worked on TeamSpeak, because you only need to talk to your subordinates. Your subordinates need to talk to there, but then your safety is to hail all to talk when things go to shit. And it relies and instills trust in your officers, but it also allows for subterfuge. If you have spies, if they want to fuck you up, they could just deviate your orders, and it makes it more interesting. But I can already name a game for under $30 that uses 4 keys for voice. Do you know what it is? We've been playing it. Black Wake. They have a squad, faction, proxy chat right there. So they have it on a simple game like that. So I would hope that, I know not Discord, but Spectrum could do it. It's just, will it be scalable? Will it be mappable? Can you do it that way? This is going to be
very heavily dependent upon how they end up integrating it into the game. And I think the integration into the game is going to end up determining the hierarchy system of Spectrum, because within the game you have multiple opportunities to interface with Spectrum. You've got your Moby Glass, and the Moby Glass could be, say, one-on-one and squad-based communications, and you can maybe in one of those tiny windows bring up a chat, right? But then separately, if you want to get into wider band communications, you've got to sit down in front of some kind of a communications console or have some other form of communications equipment that will let you broadcast on a wider bandwidth. So then you're going to have a communications officer on one of these larger ships, like, say, the Caterpillar, and they have access to and take commands from the captain. So the captain says, get me engineering, and this person is sitting at the console, and they open the communications on the bridge, and they open the communications on engineering, and suddenly the bridge and engineering have that open channel of communication. But then they could immediately, with a single button, turn that off, and there's another button that they can push, and suddenly the captain is talking over a PA system ship-wide. And that there are a bunch of ways that they can try and integrate that in.
Here's how I do it. Because
you got like you said, your 4, and you just have, like you say, 4 hotkeys. Like get a USB pedal, and then make your left pedal broadcast everyone, and your right pedal something else. Anyways, sorry to interrupt you. That was like totally rude of me.
No, but think about this too. You could have, instead of even the hotkeys, think how many buttons there are on your ship. I mean, a lot of the ship controls we don't use or we remap and all that. What about the voice pack system?
Right.
Voice pack
attack. I was just going to say.
Yeah, because all you'd have to do
broadcast all. And
Enterprise, like when you're flying around, engineering, and then it connects you there. I mean, that's there's
awesome.
on bridge and stuff. That's what I have voice attack for. Is I'm waiting for use it in multi-crew. Not only for that, but give NPCs commands, because there's going to be hotkeys and stuff to like communicate with this NPC, tell him to go repair, do that stuff. My voice pack system, that's great. They use it on the fighters. I think it's a cool, neat little fun feature, but I don't think it's necessary for me.
Well, you could say,
but on a
damage
big ship,
control engine room,
yes,
right? What would that? What keystrokes would that do? And that could be exactly what you're talking about. That could be the macro that sends all of your NPCs or half your NPCs or whatever to go do that, and you are completely unloaded. So you're right. Like right now, we're just screwing around with it. Like there's very, very little, the top of it in the fighters, but it has so much potential. Like your
insane amounts.
How much, you know. Could it be super complex? Yes, but it's a lot less complex than trying to remember macros and shit and pushing buttons.
Especially if you're in a fight. Especially if you're trying to control your crew and that, or if you're an officer or an admiral and you're trying to coordinate a fleet. You know, you're not only worried about your vessel, you're worried about everybody else's. And additionally, think about this from the old Wing Commander games and stuff. You had the AI for the squadron control, right? If they do that still, that also allows fighter pilots to have an AI and control them through the voice pack services stuff. It's like, attack my target. Okay. And do that stuff. All those commands.
Or relinquish command to 2IC.
Exactly.
Right? Like, you know that you're going to have to go have supper.
Yep.
And you want the 2IC to be able to control the ship as if you were not there.
You have the comm.
Right, exactly. And that's
awesome.
Again, it's literally the sky's the limit with that program. And I don't even know. Paul might actually be in here because I retweeted and sometimes he lurks. So HCS Paul, if you're here, hello. Please make yourself, please show us you're there. But no, he's a gamer first, and that's been the whole point of what he's been doing. So
and that's the thing.
Functionality is going to get there.
It's going to be amazing. I can't wait for those type of aspects, those larger multi-crew where you need that multifunction. And I think it's going to be really, really cool.
And if he doesn't do it, I will.
There you go. All right, so that pretty much wrapped up ATV. And like I said, guys, that's not even going in. We're not even going to talk about the guns. Because the guns were cool. It was eye candy. It was good. We've seen it before if you're a vet and you've been here a while. Yeah, but we're about informational updates and stuff. And where I had 3 guys tell me today, well, there was nothing to talk about this week. I'm like, are you effing kidding me? There's so much. Like, we just skipped a ton of stuff, and there's still more there. Happy hour, we're going to do a more of a summation because we are going to move it along. That way we can get to the Q&A. And again, guys, if you have questions or topics you want to talk about, ! Questions in chat. Go over to the little beautiful worksheet and make that happen, and then we'll get those things linked back over here. I haven't looked at it, see if we have any yet or not, but we'll check it out in a little bit. Happy hour, though, just kind of breeze through it, and then you guys can comment on what you want. First iteration of character creation will be simple with different heads and bodies to choose from. We kind of knew this. They're just going to have some basic sliders. They're going to make it more complicated as they move on. I mean, whatever. I don't care. We've all been Ted so far, or whatever his name is. We've all been the exact same guy. We're all clones at the moment, so any variation I'm good with. And Sean Tracy did confirm that they will all have a Sean Tracy haircut option that will be available that we're super excited about, because then we'll have like rear view mirrors as long as we stay in single file in a line. We'll be able to see who's behind us.
Sean Tracy.
So he's the one who said it, not, whatever.
I know I'm already sporting a Sean Tracy.
There you go.
A little bit. Yeah.
He just needs to pull a full Mitauchi and just shave it off.
Or get a hat.
Just shave it off. It's not like you're going to have a levee or a windbreak that stops it up front. You got to just cut that shit off. Just go with it, baby. He's a sexy man anyway. He'd look good sexy trimmed down. It's all good. Helmet ship HUDs are not being removed because originally they were going to remove the HUDs, right? They talked about this modification. They're going to change some of the HUDs in them, but they're going to have a multi-HUD display will be the primary way of figuring out what's going on with your ship. So I'm wondering, is this only pertain for when you're linked into your ship, right? When you're in your vessel, or could you maybe have some sort of remote access? Like say you're EVAing out and somebody breaches your ship or they're boarding it. Could you get like an alert inside your HUD that somebody's like cracking into your ship?
Yes, that's the long-term goal.
That'd be awesome.
They do want to be able to accommodate players with those sorts of widgets in their Mobi-Glass.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like way down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the last time the document came out, there was MFDs, HUDs, and what's in your visor.
Yeah.
Those are your 3 components. Mm-hmm. And again, if you want to see what the most complete one is still the Gladius. If you want to see what it's supposed to look like, because that's the closest to being complete.
Yeah, and I think the the question was slightly misunderstood because with 2.6, a lot of the ships lost at least one of those three components.
Layers, for sure.
Yeah, and like the M50 is a perfect example.
So they're going to bring them back and all those that they took them out then.
Yeah, pretty
Right,
much
so
all
they
the
were-
ships for sure lost
Okay.
a lot. And then, of course, they also dropped the MFD's screen so low that you can't even read the text unless you zoom in, and that's not completely practical. So they were also saying in 2.6.2 that they're going to revisit all that to make those screens useful. So there may not be that quantity of information, but the stuff you actually need, like the range to target and what it is, that'll be visible.
That'd be cool.
But, and then the field of view slider should also let you maybe see more screen.
Yeah, I think, and then the next part was something that I know me and Toy have talked a lot about, and I've been waiting for many, many moons, and this will make me go back to Korea. It says the animation team are working on getting the railgun ready, and it's feeling very good. So the anti-ship infantry railgun, the rocket launcher of space. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Can I comment on that?
Oh, yeah, go.
Okay, so I read in Facebook, it's like, oh my God, we're finally going to get the Doomsday gun. Okay, now, everyone needs to put this into perspective. If it takes me 45 seconds to kill a Saber with with a Super Hornet, right, because the TTK is so high, then why would they give a player a single-shot weapon that could kill them in one shot? It's not going to happen. Will it do damage? Yes, it'll do a ton of damage, but you won't be able to one-shot a ship out of
I'll have
the
10
sky
bros
with it.
out there unifying our shot.
Oh, yeah. Good luck getting 10 bros into one instance.
Well, that's true.
Sorry for that. I'm just. It's exciting. Yes, it's good. Yes, it's nice because it's another weapons platform. But balance, people. It will be balanced. You won't. You
Well,
can't have
and if
a
it's
guy
not,
with a
they'll fix it.
$250 Connie having to worry about one guy or four guys with a $15 weapon. It's not.
No,
it's
I
not
think
feasible.
it'll be as effectual. What I would like to see, and this was my argument, as much as I support the railgun, I think it should have a heavy impact on fighters. Multi-crew, I think it should do veritably nothing to, at all.
Against people.
Here's my thing. Railgun, I'm sure at some point is going to be near, if not one-hit kill, because how many times have we had Missile Commander happen? It just happens.
It'll probably initially be that way, and they'll have to fix it.
For
and
me,
it's
I'm
not
really not too
recoilless
worried
either.
about that, because let's think about this. How easy is it for an individual, either EVA or standing on the ground, to target with a handheld weapon or shoulder-mounted weapon a starship that's moving at X amount of meters per second?
Oh, I
How
agree.
When
easy
you're
is it for you to
stationary,
just...
it's going to be when you're stationary, you're going to have to worry about it. Like if you're flying into Security Port Korea and you're trying to do a precision landing, and some guy just says no, like Soros will be there. You know that. He'll be there.
Oh, yeah.
Boosh, he'll like knock your shields out. And you'd be like, God damn it, like Soros, just let me land, like.
Well, we already
something
have a one-hit kill item in the game now, and it's called my Super Hornet because I just ram it into people and they explode. So that usually works out pretty well, especially around Korea when they all bounce off stuff.
The backstory of what I wanted to do is like let people know that I don't think that they'll let that be a one-shot kill in the game.
Not permanently, anyway.
It's not going to be like the Doomsday gun because that's not fun for anybody except the person with the gun.
Yeah.
And that won't happen.
Even then, I'm sure it must get boring pretty quickly.
I was hoping what they would do would make a disable gun, like something that would like zap the energy or take the shields out of a ship or something.
gun?
Yeah, an EMP gun for
like
handheld that would maybe have a limited fire arc where it would like, knock it out for like 5 seconds to allow you to evade or try to board.
Joker sucker punch.
Handheld distortion.
Something like that would be cool. And it wouldn't be like, oh my God, these guys. Because, I mean, to be honest, when we can get 20 people in the game, you'd have 20 guys with these things if you have to go against the ship.
The Caterpillar will open up. They won't even bother using the weapons on the Caterpillar.
Yeah.
Turrets, take them off because all we do is open up and launch gray cats at people.
Yep. It'd be amazing.
That would be fun.
Gray cats with
It
people
would
with
be.
railguns,
Yeah.
I'm still hoping that they do the man launcher for the front module.
That's gone.
No,
No,
That's
they've
so
already
it's
confirmed
so
that's
gone.
gone.
I wish.
I know. But you know
Star
what?
Trek.
There's some small part of me.
You know
that's
what they
like,
should
Khan
do?
and Kirk
You
are
know what they
flying.
should do to satisfy that want? Because I've heard several people mention it. They should make an NPC scenario where some pirates, like screwbally pirates, try to do that and they kill their crewman. Because it's like they launch him, he turns into a
lore.
splatter. Something
Right.
fun
In
where
the
it was
lore.
like an idea they had, but it was like it's not really a thing. It's something that like some NPCs do, and it's stupid, and they turn their buddy into like a bug on a windshield. They also talked
It
about
registers on your shields.
yeah, exactly.
It's like, what was that?
What was that? I don't know.
That was George.
There you go. They also said they were talking about hand-to-hand combat, which I get it, but I mean, I don't want them to go into that much depth. I know there's a lot of people in Star Marine say, hey, there's no sharp weapons to do all this stuff. Seriously? Because if you're trying to knife me, I think 9 times out of 10, I'm going to kill the hell out of you before you knife me. Just at least unless they change the radar systems. Because right now, your situational awareness for a good FPS player is off the charts. There's no time to like sneak up stealthily and stab somebody.
You played Battlefield 4?
Yes.
The counter knife thing?
Yes.
That sounded cool. It didn't turn out to be very cool.
No, it's pretty
Right?
lame.
Because it was too glitchy.
Yep.
So this whole insta-kill where you can block and melee and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Again, if you had a rifle, ideally you're with an orc, and if you're fighting a guy with a knife, your friend is going to just put a bullet in his head.
Yeah.
So why bother?
And
right?
and if not in your head too, because that's just kind of how it rolls. Because
you
there's
should
spray and
never
pray.
be alone in this game. You shouldn't need knives in this game.
No, I just can't think of a situation. There's probably going to be a rare occurrence where maybe in a crowd you could stab somebody. Like if it's in a, you
Assassin's
snuck in there.
Creed kind of
Yeah,
stuff?
exactly. Like you're in a group, but there's never going to be a time like he's got a gun and I'm going to be like parkouring over to him and like knife him. You're just going to
It's
die.
not Mirror's Edge.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. And I like how they even used in the reference, they said there will be counters for hand-to-hand combat, so if someone tries to stab you, you'll have a way to counter it. And how in-depth the system will be unknown, which I hope is not. I hope it's very shallow. I'm okay with having a knife stab, but I don't want to get into a full Aikido battle, like on the ground and stuff. They said it won't be as detailed as For Honor. I'm
The
like,
game
God,
is already
it better not be.
complicated.
Yeah,
But that's something that they've been talking about since like Legacy days, is having some basic kind of melee combat available for us, because you have to remember our perception of combat right now is very much an arcadey one, and it is not reflective of the end goal for Star Citizen as a whole. They want combat just like they're doing with the dogfighting, trying to slow it down, bring it up closer, make it a lot more visceral and dynamic.
The TTK is
but that's
unnecessary.
super easy to do a Star Marine. It's super easy. All you have to do is allow single deaths. Because the only reason it's so arcadey, I guarantee if it was one death and you're out, elimination, nobody be running around like I do inside Star Marine. Everybody be hiding in the corner, waiting for somebody to walk by them, and it'd be the slowest game ever.
Taking advantage of a cover system. No one's really
Because you don't need to, because you respawn.
Right.
Yeah.
But these are things that they want in the game, and
Then you get camping, and it would be painful.
And I'll say it again. I've said it to Sean.
good
I've said
for
it to
Star
everybody
Marine.
else with Star Marine. All you have to do is make a game mode to experiment. Make one game mode that is single death. The same thing every other FPS shooter has, and you'll see that thing go from a Mitauchi running around as fast as I can, because even if you kill me, I killed 3 people before you killed me, because it's just math. It's how many people I can kill before you kill me, to, oh shit, I got 1 life. Am I going to just jump out there and risk it? Or am I going to get put down the first time, look like a scrub, and then not win?
It's already hard enough to find a populated server. You do that, and no one will, I don't think.
You'd have to...
Let's be realistic. You'd almost have to go try that out with a group of friends. Like, hey, let's go try out this game mode.
Yeah.
I don't think that,
As someone who's trying to come at Star Citizen with more of an RP mindset, and without knowing very clearly what the economy is going to be like and how much I'm paying for bullets or energy clips for my weapons, for all I know, they're going to be fairly expensive, and I'm not going to want to waste it. And sometimes it'll be better to try and complete a mission just using your bare hands or the end of a knife. And I like
Rainbow Six style.
I like knowing that those options are there, because it means that the gameplay, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter what type of mission you take on, there are always options, there are choices, there are different paths that you can take to reach the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to have, because that sort of dynamic gameplay, the choice making, the what were those things? Ah, shoot, my mind is blanking right now. The choose your own adventure books.
Yeah.
Right.
That's essentially what Star Citizen is. And so to say, well, we can't have it because then it makes the game too complicated, we're sort of taking away one of those opportunities to make that choice to push forward. So I think there's room for all of it.
Well, I mean, even if you don't want to add a dedicated... Go ahead, Toy, sorry.
I was just going to say, yes, I agree with that, but it doesn't need to be all right now.
Yeah.
No.
They can have it later.
I just don't want them to ever put something into the game where you can be killed or lose one of your 9 lives or whatever, however you want to spin it, and not be able to counter it. And that's why the TTK is so long now, because we're not talking about Call of Duty where you can spawn. There won't be spawn in the universe.
No.
And what they need to do is make the Star Marine is supposed to be a simulator for real life. So if a game kills you in or if your gun kills you with 1 shot in Star Marine, it should do the same thing in real life or in real persistent universe. And that's, I think, the biggest struggle in this game, is that as soon as you have causality in death, right? That's why it takes 45 hours to kill a Saber with a Super Hornet, because you can't just have your ship magically disappear. Like, whoever shoots first wins. It's not the OK Corral.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Star Marine. It's painful for anyone who's used to playing Call of Duty or Battlefield. Guys, like, pew, 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 pew. The only game that remotely comes close is the bullet-soaking Division or Borderlands, and neither of those are simulators. Right?
Yeah.
So it's
well, I would argue though that you can't really. You want to still have a Star Marine that's fun, and you want to have one that simulates that, because I do want to practice that type of one death kill type thing. So even if it's not a mode, but have a custom.
It has to be that.
But Arena Commander's not like that, because you just respawn too.
No, but Arena Commander at least has, when you're doing PvP, if you're playing Battle Royale, the hit points are equal to what's in the verse.
Right.
So forget co-op, like, because that's fake. That's a good place to learn. But if you really want to learn the way it's going to be in the verse, go into Battle Royale. You'll see how much damage you have to put on something before its shields drop, and that is exactly the same number outside. So that's your train like you fight. That's why people go into Battle Royale. That's why people play.
But you just respawn when you die in Battle Royale.
Fine, but at least the time to kill is correct. What you're proposing is to have a Star Marine that plays like Call of Duty, where you die and respawn, and then another Star Marine that is the right time to kill.
Yes.
And that's to me, that you can't do that. Like, that would be.
Yeah, right now, I mean, in the regular PU, they're gonna have a time to kill where you can get one-shotted inside the PU as well as a infantry.
Bring friends.
Absolutely.
That's the point.
The other thing, and I think Sean Noonan was saying this one day when I can't remember if I was in Kurjo's or whose chat it was, but he said the other thing we haven't experienced yet on the infantry level is the medic. Like doing the medic, like resurrection or bringing stuff up, which also changes the dynamics there too. So I would also propose that you don't have the single death matches until you can also try to heal each other, because that's another dynamic. Nobody worries about trying to get somebody up or save their friend or any of that stuff in Star Marine. You just run around and see who can kill the most. So there's so many dynamics that are different beyond the time to kill even in there. It's just
need in-game voice for that to work unless you have a group of friends, because I need to be able to say covering and another guy saying, I'm going in to get the guy,
or I'm down.
If I can't tell him covering, then he's going to be like, I'm not going anywhere near that guy. That's a corpse already, right? Like, that's just dumb. So no, it's good, but also I think this is not to say anything negative, but that level of extra gameplay really does take a team of friends who are familiar and comfortable with each other. And I can see that being more of an org thing, because it barely works in Battlefield, where you really, again, even in Battlefield, where it really comes together is if you have a group of friends, you're always playing, you know each other, and you speak to each other, and you're like, the communication has to be there. If you get that group together, they will mop the floor with the other team, who are just a bunch of randoms and a bunch of plebs. So for that to work, though, again, teamwork. So let's say you're Area 18, and you've got your group and you're going to go negotiate something, I will never not have a second or third person with me, because that's the only way that I can make sure that there's that action reaction.
Yeah.
And if you're running around the universe by yourself, I don't think it's going to be a very enjoyable game for you unless you're always in safe zones, and in which case you're getting 10% of the game.
Yeah.
So go get an orc.
Yeah, you definitely want to. It's an MMO for a reason. I mean, you know,
Right.
you can play how you want to play, but
Yeah.
all I tell people is if you're going to play by yourself, set your expectation level of what you're going to get out of
Yeah.
it.
Like a bartender.
Yeah.
You can be a bartender.
Because my wife is a huge person in these MMOs that likes to mission by herself a lot of times, likes to do those things. But she realizes if she wants to go after a boss, if she wants to go over and do this, she's going to have to get with a group. There's no other option for her. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Untouchable.
And I don't want people to think, oh, it's Star Citizen and NPCs are the ultimate solution. I wouldn't expect that. I think they're going to augment, but they're not going to be the anchor solution for any single player type gameplay.
There
like
are
that.
certain jobs that maybe,
Yes.
right? But no, it's not like you can go get a Polaris and buy 15 people and fly around the universe without getting shot up.
Absolutely.
Because that's not going to work.
No.
They can't.
Okay, so last couple things here real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and cut the podcast, and we'll come back with the after show so we can do some giveaways and some other good stuff. Atmospheric flight they touched on. They said basically that's going to deviate based on the gravity of the planet. I think we already kind of knew that because the atmospheres are going to vary and be different. And the most important
nice to have
question...
them.
Go ahead.
Sorry. It's just nice to have them confirm that about gravity.
Yes.
We know that about weather conditions, but now gravity too.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, gravity's nice. It keeps you down.
Yeah.
No, but the other thing is there's no updates yet on CitizenCon or Gamescom, but to expect those soon. And I know me and Toy are eagerly awaiting some CitizenCon information so we know like if I'll be able to book a flight or not or what's going to happen. So, fly to Germany. We'll see what happens. Other than that, I want to do, because I didn't use the other screen at all. I got so involved in our conversation that we didn't even go to the media screen at all. I do want to give a shout out real quick to both Twerk and WTF who were out there
Haji.
at PAX East. It's a beautiful picture.
Haji-saurus.
This is I think this is a post coitus picture here, but it's definitely they're having a blast out there. And if you haven't caught any of Source's streams and stuff, he's been streaming live from his rig setup out there, which is pretty fucking cool.
He's a cyborg.
Yep, definitely. He's half man, half machine now. And Twerk is confirmed as his valet for the entire episode, so that way he can like pack and unpack his backpack and do all those things. So big shout out to those guys. Hope they're having a great time, and bring me something cool back. That'd be awesome. But yeah, guys, we're gonna go ahead and basically pause the podcast here. We'll be right back. We're gonna cut it for YouTube and all the other venues and stuff. And then we'll be right back on the air. So we'll see you guys here in a minute. Thank you all for watching and doing that. And yeah, let's.
And BTS voice pack giveaway.
And we'll be back with a voice pack giveaway. That's right.
Stick around.
Yep.
BTS.
Now we blow everybody's eardrums out with music.